Welcome to the Viral Solutions Podcast. Today's topic we're going to talk about is how to use social media stories in your marketing. Have you noticed that marketing has taken a much more casual tone over the past few years? People are sick of corporate approaches that puts companies on a pedestal and the whole corporate spiel. Boring professionalism. They want real connections, laid-back interactions, and they want to work with brands that tell a great story that's believable and that their friends and fellow customers support through testimonials, reviews. That's where social media stories come into play. So what are social media stories? If you're new to this, it isn't just about posting. There's actually a thing called stories. So you might be a little confused on how they benefit your business, because the content kind of disappears after 24 hours, right? If you know about stories. Stories are now one of the most loved and used aspects of social media. And when you know how to use them for your brand marketing, it can have a dramatic impact. So what exactly are they and how do they work? Social media stories are images and videos that display vertically in a full screen mobile mode outside of your regular feed, and they only last 24 hours. Some apps, such as Instagram, allow you to save them in collections so they're viewable for longer periods of time, but for the most part, they're meant to be a real-time snapshot of your life or business. Are social media stories popular? Yes, they are. According to the State of Social Media report by VidMob, that's VIDMOB.com, over 70% of Instagram users view stories every day. And a report by Statistica, STATIS, TA.com/statistics, you'll find revealed that the following percentages of social media users use the story feature. Facebook, 70%. Instagram, 83%. Snapchat, 87%. YouTube, 76%. Now, there's also a report back in 2018 that's still relevant by Block Party, and that's weareblockparty.com. That even showed that story-based sharing is growing at a whopping 15 times faster than news feed sharing. Oof. What platforms have stories featured? These days, almost all social media platforms offer some sort of version of a stories feature. So Snapchat stories are called snaps. As the originator of social media stories, Snapchat launched in 2011 and took off with teens and young adults. In fact, 90% of Snapchat users are between the ages of 13 and 24. Generation Z, they call them. This makes it a great platform for small and medium-sized businesses with a young audience. How about Instagram? What do they have for story features? Instagram was the next platform to get on the stories bandwagon, and they've been able to pull in not only Generation Z, but also millennials. They have a checkout feature, which allows you to engage your audience, build brand awareness, and convert them to buyers all at once. Facebook Stories. Yep, Facebook's got them. Facebook Stories launched in 2016. Instead of likes and comments when your audience interacts with you through stories, it happens in Facebook Messenger. And that's great since it puts you in direct contact with them. You can also link Instagram and Facebook together for easy posting on both platforms. How about WhatsApp Stories? Well, everybody knows that that's owned by Facebook. In WhatsApp, the Stories feature is called Status. What makes this one different than the others is that they don't use an algorithm to determine who sees your status. Instead, you choose who to hide it from, like certain people on the platforms, and then that gives you a little more control. LinkedIn Stories. LinkedIn has recently developed a Stories feature as well. It's excellent for small business brands because it allows for updates and events on a platform that is more business-oriented. Twitter Fleets. That's what Twitter's story is. Twitter's Stories feature called Twitter Fleets. It's the new kid on the block. It represents fleeting thoughts is where they came up with this name. And it's a platform to use for quick updates, and it's already optimized for real-time conversions. YouTube Stories. YouTube didn't want to be left out, of course, so they're also working on a Stories feature, which is still in beta, and we're talking to you in late December 2020. And this allows for 15-second snippets that they're going to call Reels, R-E-E-L-S, and it's meant for an on-the-go update. What are the benefits of social media stories for brands? The benefits to using social media stories in this modern business landscape could warrant an entire article on their own, but here's 5 of our favorites. Number 1 benefit, scarcity. While it may seem counterproductive that social media stories are temporary, what it actually does is bring in the scarcity factor that makes your audience want to tune in right away to see your posts. Number 2, engaging and exclusive. This is one of the most engaging forms of marketing because it's shared and viewed in the moment. Think of it as a what's happening right now type of message that you invite others to take part in. It makes them feel like they are part of a moment in time. They feel more connected to your brand through the shared real-time experience. It even makes them feel like VIPs who are in the in crowd. Benefit 3, transparency and authenticity. You hear us at Viral Solutions talk about this a lot. Because millennials and Gen Z demand transparency and authenticity from brands. With stories, that's what they get. As a result, they get to know your brand in a much more different, real, and intimate, authentic way. Stories posts are more casual because you can't stage one that's not authentic. It shows your audience who you really are and what your brand is really about. Benefit 4, relatable and approachable. Even though everything is going more digital, brands always need to find a way to bring in a human element. And social media stories make your business more human. They make you relatable and approachable, which increases your trust factor and makes people feel like they have a relationship with your brand. Essentially, a well-done story turns your brand into a living, breathing entity. It combines the captivating power of storytelling with a visual appeal that makes it even more enticing. Benefit 5, cool, easy, and fun. Hey, when we really get down to it, social media stories are just a much cooler way of marketing a business. Very hip. It's enjoyable for people to engage with a brand in this way, and it's easy for them to digest. It's a fun way to get your audience to learn about your brand. And at the same time, it's easy content for you to create. How do you use stories in your marketing? The use of social media stories is an incredibly popular tactic. I'm sure you noticed that. If it fits within your overall marketing strategy, you can use it and be seen as one of the most cutting-edge businesses in your niche. So let's look at some of the best ways to use stories so you can amp up the fun in your marketing and the effectiveness. Don't share the same kind of content that you do on regular social media posts in your stories. Remember, these stories are snapshots of real-time, current, now experiences, like behind-the-scenes footage. A new product just arrived. Some breaking news. Some live thought. An exclusive short-term discount or promotion. Some type of new brand narrative. And on the fun side, bloopers and blunders. Awesome. Show the humanness of you. Be consistent. Stories work best when you share consistent content. And content consistently and often. The more the merrier. And they perform really well when you upload multiple posts at one time. So consider planning in advance to make it easier. And add some cool elements. There's some platforms out there that make this easy, and Instagram's probably the winner in this category, because you can add all kinds of filters and texts and polls and emojis and stickers and GIFs and even freehand drawings. And even a way to allow users to ask you questions. Take advantage of these elements as they make your stories much more interactive. You can add sound. Most of these stories are viewed with sound on. That's unusual in social media. And you can repurpose them. The stories do disappear quickly, so one way to get more for your efforts is to repurpose your content to be used on regular posts and email. So in other words, produce something specific for the stories, because we just talked about that you shouldn't, do the same thing everywhere. But then when you do the repurpose, take that back to your other channels once you've blown it open. Run ads on these stories. Most of the major platforms allow ads on stories, which can be something to consider if you're planning out your paid ad campaigns. This also provides businesses with some telling insights that you can use to make your marketing even better on the next go-around. Some final thoughts. Well, there you have it. Some of our best tips on how to use social media stories to make your business more relatable, intriguing, and relevant in these modern times to a modern new audience. But don't just take our word for it. Follow some of your favorite brands and start paying attention to what they're doing with stories. And if you want, at viralsolutions.net, you can download our social media toolkit. Just search for it on our website. Because at Viral Solutions, we're committed to seeing you succeed. And our goal is to double your sales, double your revenue, double your donors, so that you grow your business and organization through proven marketing strategies. Stay up to speed right here with the ever-changing rapid world of marketing at viralsolutions.net and on your favorite podcast provider. Make it a great day with social media stories in your marketing.